Hi, all. It's Dr. Glover here. And it's funny, I'm getting ready to film this here on time management, and I get a text from one of my clinical practice students who was in working in the building, and she's like, "It's getting late, Dr. Glover. Don't you want to go home?" So, ironically, here I am late filming on time management. So, what we're talking about today is something that you never quite perfect. You just get better at it. And some days are going to be better than others. But we're going to play a little game first to start out. What I want you to do is you see this picture, it's a Van Gogh on the bottom of your screen there. What I want you to do, since you aren't with us here in class to do this, I want you to take 10 minutes and I want you to try to recreate this picture as best as you can. Now, I realize not everybody's an artist. I certainly am not one. My stick figures have been called into question multiple times. But I want you to try your best. Just take 10 minutes, get as much done as you can. Set your own timer and restart this when that time's up. Now, if your artistic ability is anything like mine, perhaps this is sort of how you feel when comparing yours to the real thing.
Remember the Moby Dick pop-up cake you were trying to make, and let's see what you made. What?
That's pretty much so how I felt when I tried this, but it was relaxing. But this all gives us a great example of how to look at time management. So you were given a very limited amount of time to do a monumental piece of work, a Van Gogh. And so you got to think to yourself, what steps did you take when you managed your time? Because you certainly didn't have enough time to create every aspect of this artwork. So you had to decide what was most important. Did you do any planning in advance before you started? Did you go and gather all your supplies before your timer began? And or planning out, maybe sketching it in advance. And then you got to ask, is that time to make a plan? Did that hurt you or did it help you finish more quickly, and why? And when you don't know what to do on something, what did you do? For example, if you are not an artist like me, you might not have known where to start, and I just saw lots of yellow, so I just sort of began there. So when you don't know what to do, what could you do? Is there something else you could have done? Now, I want to show you a short little video on the ultimate procrastinator.
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers. Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this. So, you get started maybe a little slowly, but you get enough done in the first week that with some heavier days later on, everything gets done and things stay civil. And I would want to do that like that. That would be the plan. I would have it all ready to go, but then actually the paper would come along, and then I would kind of do this. And that would happen every single paper. But then came my 90-page senior thesis, a paper you're supposed to spend a year on. I knew for a paper like that, my normal workflow was not an option. It was way too big a project. So I planned things out, and I decided I kind of had to go something like this. This is how the year would go. So I'd start off light, and I'd bump it up in the middle months. And then at the end, I would kick it up into high gears, just like a little staircase. How hard could it be to just walk up the stairs? No big deal, right? But then, funniest thing happened. Those first few months, they came and went, and I couldn't quite do stuff. So we had an awesome new revised plan. But then those middle months actually went by, and I didn't really write words. And so we were here. And then 2 months turned into 1 month, which turned into 2 weeks. And one day I woke up with 3 days until the deadline, still not having written a word. And so I did the only thing I could. I wrote 90 pages over 72 hours, pulling not one, but 2 all-nighters. Humans are not supposed to pull 2 all-nighters. Sprinted across campus, dove in slow motion, and got it in just at the deadline. I thought that was the end of everything. But a week later, I get a call. It's the school. And they say, "Is this Tim Urban?" And I say, "Yeah." And they say, "We need to talk about your thesis." And I say, "Okay." And they say, "It's the best one we've ever seen. That did not happen. It was a very, very bad thesis.
I don't know about you, but I was laughing really hard when I saw that because I have been there that you plan and you think you're going to have enough time and something else happens and you just don't. And so today we're going to talk about time management, and not only in terms of classroom and planning anything ready in the classroom, but also in terms of you're going to start working on your teacher work sample. And I know you already did part of it last semester, but now's where it really, really ramps up, where hopefully you can get those stair steps in rather than that peak he had in his. So the procrastinator flowchart, I thought this was great. Do something right now. No. And some of us know that we're a procrastinator, and we say we work better under stress and under pressure. But believe it or not, your body really doesn't. Stress has an adverse effect when it comes in large amounts on your body. So if you're procrastinating too much, it's actually going to be more harmful than helpful. So with time management, you need to actually plan. You need to think about what you need to do before starting. So when you're looking at your teacher work sample, deciding what elements you're going to do and spacing them out, what tasks do you need to accomplish before you can even start writing some of those pieces, prioritizing what's due first. So yes, you have your teacher work sample to complete, but you also have daily lesson plans. Those daily lesson plans are going to be due, well, daily. And so you need to make sure you've got that done and that important piece done. And then time management is also going to ask you to multitask, that you're going to have to partner high cognitive tasks and low cognitive demands and going back and forth between the two. And driving is actually a high cognitive demand task. So you should not be driving and texting. Mom voice coming out here. Do not drive and text. So combining that high demand and the low demand, just don't do it. And then avoid those time suckers, we call them. These are the things you get pulled into on social media, where you're scrolling through and it's 3 hours of cat videos on TikTok you've watched by the time you finish. And instead of going and interrupting your day with that, use those pieces as a reward when you accomplish a small task. Maybe you're saying, I'm going to write section 3 today. Work on that of my teacher work sample, and I'm going to get 3 paragraphs of that done today. Notice it's not a lot. I'm not setting this huge, massive goal. But when I've completed that task, then reward yourself. Don't do it beforehand and suck up that time you could be using on what's important. And then the next piece is, and some of us in teachers struggle with this, is avoiding perfection. We want to be sure that what we turn in is worthy and good. But guys, I can't say this enough. We're not perfect. Only Jesus is. You're going to make mistakes. And I've told you all along through your journey here with us that it's okay to make mistakes, that you learn and you grow. And when you obsess about something being perfect, it takes away from the time not only to accomplish that task, but accomplish other tasks as well. You want to encourage time blocking, where you have time set aside for fun. Look at your schedule and say, where can I do something fun? What's something you enjoy? Maybe you like my husband and I, we like playing pickleball. So we'll set time in our schedule to do that. Yes, I know it's an old people sport. And yes, I do love it. Maybe for you younger people, you're going running or playing tennis or doing something else. And just set that time where you have nothing else to do. But at the same time, also set aside time where you're going to work and you're going to remove yourself from other things that are going to be a distraction. Some people can go and work at the coffee shop while the talking and everything else is going on without issue. Other people need absolute silence. So know what it is you need and provide that environment for yourself to get work done. The next big thing is going to be rest. Not getting enough sleep makes tasks take longer. So you need to get rest. You need to get sleep. You don't want to be pulling 2 all-nighters trying to get something accomplished. When you don't get enough sleep, it also affects your decision-making process as well. And then we have to look at sustainability. Don't have the I just need to get through this week mindset, because next week you're just going to have to get through that next week and just have to get through that next week. Don't look at this because this is not a pace you want to keep up after graduation. I don't want you to keep that pace up before graduation. Start implementing some of these time management pieces for your own sanity. So then we look at next steps. What I want you to do, I want you to pick one of these ideas that you will work on this semester, and I want you to write it. You're going to plan or prioritize, multitask, avoid time suckers, avoid perfection, block off time, rest, sustainability. And I want you to write some sort of a plan on how you're going to implement this in your life. And then talk to somebody within your cohort about your plan and give them permission to hold you accountable. Maybe it's a roommate, maybe it's a spouse or a significant other, or a teacher you trust that you're working with. Give them that permission to hold you accountable, because time management, it is a skill and it is a learned skill, and you guys will be successful.